Hello friends and welcome back to Enterprise Architecture. Now, last episode we set up our metal press from Immersive Engineering, which you can see behind us, and also set up a water wheel so that we can power it. That means today we need to start working on building out the rest of our Immersive Engineering requirements, which includes building out our windmill finally, really excited about that, as well as moving on to nickel, which allows us to then make advanced Techium. So, with no further ado, let's dive right in. So first things first, I want to say I just got back from the dentist and I feel a little bit of pain here from my jaw. I also might be slurring my speech a little bit as a result of all of the Novocaine just getting my tooth fixed. So I apologize in advance, but we're going to press on anyway. The other thing I want to mention is between episodes, I added Engineer's Decor, which is one of my absolute favorite mods when you're using Immersive Engineering. It adds all of these wonderful additional blocks for decoration, and most notably, it adds the iron hatch. I just love the iron hatch. I think it's super neat. So I'm going to go ahead and put this in right here as part of our overall staircase there. And now we don't have to worry about falling in. I just think those look so neat. It'll look even better when we have better flooring over here other than just wood planks. I'm going to drop off the rest of our metal bars. Again, these are real easy. It's just 3 pieces of iron to make a stack of these. So the next thing we actually need to do here, the actual quests that we're paying attention to, if we go back to our, not iron and aluminum, but our big machines quest, we have a few things left here. The windmill is the first thing I'm going to knock out here. So for this, we need windmill blades, and I think we need at least 4 of those. Oh, no, it's 8 of them to make our windmill. And then on top of that, we can put windmill sails, and that mainly just needs a bunch of tough fabric. So let's add our windmill blades to our shopping list here. Great. And then we're going to add our windmill sails as well. And ideally, we'll want 8 of those, but that's at the maximum. We don't necessarily need that many. So let's grab up our treated sticks and our treated wood planks real fast here. And I think we're going to need a few more of these, just like that. And let's make up as many of these windmill blades as we can. And it looks like 2. 2 is as many as we can. And then grab up a jerry can full of our creosote oil. And that we're going to go ahead and use to wrap around some oak planks. There we go. And now we have a bunch of treated planks. Let's go ahead and just finish out this can while we're at it. There's no reason not to. There we go. And now we can make a whole bunch more treated sticks out of that. There we go. 50 is going to be way more than we need. So let's make as many windmill blades as we can. And we're just going to want 8 of these to start. There we go. Great. Now what we need to do is go and grab up as much of our hemp as we can and use that to make up our actual blades, the sails that go on those windmills. So again, we're just going to keep twerking our way to victory here. Okay, great. And I'm not really sure how much of this tough fabric we are going to need to make here. So let's just take a look here. So we need, looks like 6 of these tough fabric to make a windmill sail. 6 times 8 gives us 48. Then we need a whole bunch of these tough fabrics. So that's not even close to enough yet. So let's go ahead and make as many as we can. And it looks like 3 is all we can make for now. And that just means I need to get a whole bunch more industrial hemp. So let me go ahead and grab some dirt, finish out this platform a little bit more, and plant even more of our industrial hemp so we can get that set up real quick. All right, so now we have a bunch more of our hemp. Let's make up a bunch more of our tough fabric. There we go. And we do want to leave ourselves a little extra. And now we make up our rest of our windmill sails. There we go. There's the 5 that we need. And actually that was just perfect. We just had 2 more than we needed. And now with that in hand, we can use this windmill blade to assemble our actual windmill. We just need 1 more piece of iron. There we go. And with this wrapped around that iron, we have a windmill. Great. Now to actually do anything with the windmill, we need to make ourselves another dynamo. So let's go ahead and grab up our dynamo. And for that, we need aluminum, iron, and our copper coil blocks. So another piece of iron and a bunch more copper coils. And to make these copper coils, maybe what we'll do is take a stop really quickly to make some steel plates and use that to press these out. So we're going to need, let's see, 2 more pieces of steel. Do we have that laying around here? We do. Okay, so let's drop that into our handy dandy metal press that we made last episode. There we go. Oh, and it looks like we've been making way too many steel plates, but we are certainly going to use those for another special project that's coming up pretty soon. And with that and our engineer's blueprint table, we should then be able to make up with our tin snips a wire plate. Let's do that one. Yeah. And we should actually go ahead and make the rest of these because we need those for the quest, but we're not going to worry about that just yet. Let's grab up our copper. Let's do, I don't know, 16 copper. Just like that. And let's swap out our press here. There we go. And now we should be able to put the copper in there and get wire back out the other end. Yeah, there we go. We get 2 copper wire for each of our ingots. That's great. And there's our copper wire. We're going to swap back out our copper, or our plate press, excuse me, and put 6 steel ingots in here. I think that was 6. Went a little bit faster than I was hoping for. And that should give us what we need to make the rest of those presses. There we go. 6 steel plates. So let's come back over here and let's just finish this out real fast, just so that we have it. So let's put half of those steel plates, 1, 2, 3, into here with our wire cutters. And we need the, let's see, gear mold. And what else are we missing? The rod mold. Yes. So 1, 2, 3, and rods. Perfect. Okay. So that is now all of those molds that we need. We're going to put down a chest over here so that we can have all of our molds in one place, easy to reach. And with that, we can then finish off all 3 of these quests and collect our tech box. We can also go ahead and finish all of the rest of these windmill quests. To get our windmill done, we need to build it somewhere. And I think maybe up on top of this platform is the way to do that. So the dynamo needs to come first. So let's add that to our shopping list. We need to build ourselves a copper coil block here. And for that, we need to make ourselves more LV wire coils. Let's do just like that. And then we can do our copper coil block just like that. And we do need 2 pieces of redstone, so we'll grab those. And now we should be able to make the dynamo. Great. Now we have a dynamo. So if I recall correctly, it used to be that the height of the windmill would determine how much power you actually produce. So we're going to go ahead and try and make this relatively tall for ourselves and keep building our ladder up. We don't have to go super high here, but we do want to be not immediately on the ground. There we go. A little higher. Let's just keep going here. We get a magnificent view as well. How about here? I think this is a good place to stop. And here we are going to set up our kinetic dynamo. So we're going to want to put this down, I think right here. Is that right? Oh, that's facing the wrong way though. So let's see if I can rotate this while I'm standing on top of it. There we go. And now onto this, I should be able to squeeze on my windmill right on here. Perfect. And now onto the windmill. To make this get even more efficient, we then just click these sails right onto the center and that fills up. Perfect. Now what we need to do is actually connect this to our system. We do that by putting an LV wire connector on top, and then we take our insulated LV wire coils and put this down here. Now I'm hoping this isn't too far to connect to this next point. We might have to put an intermediate one. Nope, it is not. And that should basically more than double the amount of power that we're now producing here. So a lot of our bottlenecks we were having previously should be cleared up because sometimes the metal press would stall out. All right, so that is our new additional power supply. All right, so let's get started on our machines, starting with the assembler. First, we need 2 redstone engineering blocks and 2 light engineering blocks. We have the redstone engineering blocks. Actually, we need this to do that, don't we? We need a bigger crafting grid. Okay, we are missing our redstone and iron sheet metal. So let's grab up a stack of redstone. And I made up a bunch of iron plates because I knew we would need these for iron sheet metal. So I believe, yeah, that is the recipe right there. let's go ahead and make up a set of those and a set of the light engineering blocks. And for that, we need iron mechanical components. And I think we need 4 of these. Is that right? There is a more efficient recipe here, but we don't have this engineer's blueprint yet. I will have to go back and make that in the near future because it is going to be pretty important to save as much of this iron as we can. There we go, 4 of those. And with that, we can make our light engineering blocks. Perfect. So that's the first 2 ingredients that we need here. Next, we are going to need 9 iron sheet metal. We already know how to make that. And 6 iron sheet metal slabs, which I think means we need 3 more. So 12 iron sheet metal all day. So let me see here. Do I have enough of these iron plates left? I think we do. Let's go ahead and do this and this. So that's just 1 more stack there. If I take 3 of these, does that give me 6? Yeah, that gives me 6 of those. And then all I'm missing is my conveyor belts, which are conveniently right there. And if my calculations are correct, we now have everything for that. Okay, beautiful. Okay, I always struggle a little bit with making these, so I believe this is going to be our various scaffolding is going to go on the far side here. Let's line it up with this machine. Let's do there and here on the near side. Our redstone engineering blocks, I believe, go on either side of that. And then our light engineering block should just go right in the middle. So that's the bottom layer. The next layer has our iron sheet metal across either side, and then our light engineering block as well. Let's see here, like this and like this. And then that also has our various conveyor belts going into it. Where do those conveyor belts go? Right there. And we just want to make sure these are facing the right direction, the way that we want the machine to flow. And then, if I remember correctly, it's just 3 of these on either side for the slabs, and then also 3 of our iron sheet metal on top, like so. I think that is the correct recipe. One way to find out, we just go and whack one of these with the hammer. There we go. And that is our assembler done. So we can go and manually check off this quest. Perfect. Okay, now on to the fluid outlet and the bottler. All right, so the fluid outlet is relatively straightforward. We just need to make iron bars for that. So let's grab up a bit more iron and make ourselves up some iron bars. 16 is more than we're ever going to need, hopefully. And with that, we make our fluid outlet. Now, the fluid outlet is used to dump liquids into the world. So basically the same way you would like empty out a bucket. At least I think that's how it works. I haven't actually used them for anything. I generally keep my fluids nice and tidy inside of pipes. But since this pack has the fluid absorber, we may end up using it after all, because that will give us infinite amounts of some sort of fluid. I'm not sure what fluid that's going to be yet. So something to keep an eye on, but not really on my list yet. The bottling machine is the last thing that we need here, and we have a lot of the ingredients already. We need more iron sheet metal, more steel scaffolding, and a fluid pump. That's going to be a new item for us in this so far, although we made a lot of those in the last pack. So those are relatively simple. We just need to take our iron mechanical component, which we already know how to make, and to that we need to add fluid pipes, again, easy for us to make with all of our iron plates. And then we combine all of that together with more iron plates, and we have a fluid pump. There we go. That completes the quest, but we haven't actually made the machine yet, so I'm not going to take credit for it yet. Let's make our steel scaffolding and our iron sheet metal, and then we can call this done. So again, iron sheet metal, easy enough. Just like that will give us 4. And then we need some more steel rods, and I think I need to remember how to make the steel scaffolding. I always forget this recipe. It's like a, set on top with rods underneath, like as if to hold it up in the air. So that's how we get that. Let's just throw the dirt over there for now. Okay, and if we are lucky, that should be, everything that we need for the bottling machine. All right, so our bottling machine is relatively straightforward. We are just going to go ahead and give ourselves 1 block of space and put down our sheet metal. Then this gets a redstone engineering block in the middle. We need our, I forget which side the light engineering blocks are going to go on. I think it goes on the far side. So we get 2 iron sheet metal here, 2 light engineering blocks there. We get a fluid pump here. And then the rest of this should be our conveyor belt going in this direction away from us, just like that. And then all we have to do is whack the middle one of these conveyor belts with an engineer's hammer, and there we go. We get our bottling machine. I think it's really neat the thoughtfulness they put into what recipes make up which of these machines and how they go together. So I think that's really cool. So we have our on-off switch here. We have our input on this side. Does this take power? Yeah, it does. So we did forget that we need to add power to both of these machines, and we do that by putting an LV wire connector on top here, and then a connector on top of this, just like so. And now we can wire this up and give power to both of them. So let's grab from there. This is why we put this in the sky, kind of floating awkwardly, so that we can wire everything together. Oh, and it looks like it's not where it needs to be so that we can actually connect this LV wire connector. That's problematic. So I'm going to break this down and move it up another couple of blocks so that we can properly route our power. And there we go, much better. I could be using power poles for this, but power poles still aren't quite tall enough here for what we were doing. I'd still have to put it on a platform, so this will work absolutely fine. Now, the last thing I want to do here is potentially set up some automation for these items as well. I think the bottling machine, we're probably not going to be using a lot. I don't know for sure, but I don't expect we're going to be using much of this. But for the assembler, I definitely foresee us using this a bunch. So let's make ourselves up 2 chests here, which we will then be able to connect to the front and the back of this thing, like so, just like we did on the other machine. There we go for that. And we do need to build out just a little bit more here by adding this right here. And we need an extracting conveyor belt, like so, and then we add our chest onto the back of that, and we now have automated our assembler. Now this will allow us to make our treated wood planks very, very easily. We're just going to have to route our fluid into it, which is going to be a little bit tricksy here because I believe the fluid input, is all the way down here. And with that, as we heard the noise earlier, we completed all of this section, the entire big machines area. So we're looking pretty good. Let's move on really quickly here and see how far we can get in the advanced Techium tree. This seems to be relatively straightforward. First off, we need aluminum plates. That's going to make aluminum sheet metal. We also need a steel gear. That's easy enough for us as well with our press. And then we get down here into nickel, and that means we're going to need research papers nickel, and let's add that to our list, and that we're going to need aluminum blocks and basic techium. So I am going to go ahead and make up the aluminum and steel gear real quick first, and we just do that in our press. This is set for plates, so I think I have some aluminum on hand. Yes, I do. I'm going to take 16 of those and put it in there. Okay, so I've swapped out the mold. I'm going to put 2 steel ingots on there. Is that not enough? For the gear, it should just be the 2. I'm going to have to look at this. What's the gear? Oh, it needs 4. Okay, that's more than I was expecting, but that's fine. We have it. We can certainly do it. And there we go. There is our steel gear and our aluminum plates. Let's just swap these out momentarily, just long enough to get the quest. And then the last thing we're going to do here is make up our aluminum sheet metal using the aluminum plates that we just made. And we're going to get all 3 of these quests done. Wonderful. Okay. Ooh, a lava bottle. Oh, for that we're going to need lava. How do we make lava? Ah, there we go. That's how we do it. With a bunch of redstone around a ceramic bucket, we get a ceramic lava bucket. So that's how we actually get lava. And that's how we're going to get enough lava to fill a bottle. Now, let's go ahead and I guess we can use our bucket of lava. I'm not worried about running out at this point now that I know that that recipe exists. But what we do need to do is make some glass to make a bottle. So let's go ahead and make ourselves up extra glass while we're at it. And I assume I can do this in our big jumbo furnace. I would be surprised if we can't. Let's see what happens. Yeah, there we go. We're getting 16 glass right out the gate. And that's not going in yet because it doesn't have a place to go per usual. Let's go ahead and take our oak drawers and give it a place to go. Is this? Yeah, let's go ahead and put this down right next to it. With any luck, that should fill up with glass. There we go. There is our glass. And we're going to lock that up. And then it should just be 3 pieces of glass, I believe, here for that recipe. Yeah, 3 pieces of glass, 3 bottles. Perfect. All right, so I've transferred our lava into a bucket here. And now I need to figure out how to get it into this machine, the bottling machine. Well, the only tank I can find access to is these massive multi-block tanks. And I don't know that that's necessarily what I want here. But I guess if I have no other option to be able to put fluid into this thing, that's what we're gonna have to do. Okay, so I've made up a bunch of our iron plates to make our iron sheet metal. I'm making up a bunch more as well because I know that we are gonna end up using it for our fluid pipes that we need on this thing. So let's go ahead and put down our wooden fences first. We're gonna do that, let's say, right... I'm going to line it up with this middle block. That's what I'm going to do. And then straight on with this. So we'll do there. And then that gets 1 iron sheet metal there. And then we get a series of donut blocks on top. And then I think the top of this gets filled in, and then we hit the bottom front with a hammer, right? Yeah, great. All right, so that gets that, and we fall down and try not to hurt ourselves too badly. Well, we hurt ourselves okay. And now I think if we hit this one, this will be the inlet or the outlets. Oh, I think the fluids go in on top and come out the bottom. I think that's how that works. Okay, great. I don't think I can just click a bucket of lava on this and put it in there, right? Oh, I can. Okay, perfect. Wonderful. Well, that makes this way, way easier. So now we're going to run our fluid pipes up this way from it. And I think we don't actually need to have a fluid pump on that. I think it works just fine even without a fluid pump. It just goes slower without a fluid pump. At least that's how it worked in Feed the Factory. So, oh, no, that's not the recipe we want. We want the 3 and 3. There we go. That's going to make 8 fluid pipes for us. And then that should just go right in here. All right, so we just need to drop a lever onto the bottom of this and apply a redstone signal, and that should dump all of the lava into here. Yeah, you can see it's already in our little tank there. And now what we need to do is make one more set of extracting conveyor belts so that we can drop bottles on here. You know what? Actually, I'm not even going to bother doing that. I can manually drop bottles on here. We are perfectly capable of doing that. So let's drop these like that. And there we go. Lava bottles. That completes our lava quest. No problem. All right, so now we need to make our nickel research papers. For that, we're going to need 4 basic Techium, which I've already set up. We're going to need to combine that with 4 aluminum blocks, which I also have made, and some research paper. That gives us our research papers nickel. We can submit that here, and now we have access to nickel bits. So we go back all the way over here to our ores are us. We disable copper and tin, and we disable redstone. I don't remember which is enabled and which isn't at this point, but we are going to enable nickel now instead. So let's go ahead and grab up our light gray colored stone. I'm going to do 16 of these. And so we just lay these down somewhere here where we can get to them with our prospector's pick. There we go. And we go ahead and ultimine these. And there we go. A whole bunch of nickel fragments. Now let's grab up our stone here. And I think the next quest that it's going to require of us after nickel fragments is to make nickel ore. And that means we need to set up one more miner. Now it looks like we need tier 5 support frames for that, which means iron. So I'm going to go ahead and make up a bunch of those and set that up next to our other ones. Again, I'll do that off camera because you all have already seen me set this up a million times. And we also need to make 36 pieces of our nickel. So if I take this and make 36 of these stones, I should be able to surround this with our nickel fragments and use that to make 36 pieces of nickel ore. And there is our nickel miner completely set up and all of our brand new nickel now going into our system. So soon we should start getting nickel in. That means we need to find a place to put our nickel. I think I'm going to go ahead and put it right here on top of our glass. And just like that, we already have nickel. Great, let's lock that up tight and grab up our nickel. Wonderful. So that completes this quest, that completes this quest. And now we need Constantan. So Constantan we actually make with copper and nickel together. Although it doesn't look like I can make this in our jumbo furnace. It looks like we have to have an arc furnace or an alloy kiln. That's interesting. So I guess we go ahead and make our alloy kiln now. So there are our 16 bricks from our storage. We take those along with our sand. Sand we can make into sandstone very easily. And then we split those, and that should make our kiln bricks. And actually it looks like we've got twice as many as we need because I calculated poorly. So that's even better. Wonderful. And let's go ahead and set this up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then up on my little ladder here and put the top on it. Great. Grab up our hammer. We give it a good whack. And there is our alloy kiln. Perfect. So first things first, let's go ahead and grab up our copper. And we are going to grab up our nickel. And we're going to stick these in here and make up our Constantan. So copper, and we don't have very much nickel. Let's just do 16 for now. And we need to give it something to burn. So we got a bunch of coal laying around. May as well use that, right? Yeah, let's do that. So block of coal. Okay, there is our Constantan. So we've got that quest done. Now we need to make Invar. Invar is also done with iron and nickel. So let's go ahead and grab a little bit more Constantan, but we don't want to use all of our nickel, so let's pull this back out and put the rest of this as iron. And put that in here, and that should melt into our Invar. And there we go. Now we have Invar, and that should complete this quest as well. And now we just need to finish up and make our advanced Techium. Now it looks like this uses a lot of Invar, a bunch of aluminum sheet metal. Oh yeah, this is expensive. And that's what we're using our lava and those steel gears for. Okay, so all of our aluminum sheet metal, lava, basic Techium, steel gear, all put in place there. And with our newly created Invar, we now can create our advanced Techium. Perfect. And that completes this whole section. And with that, a whole nother set of quests done. And that also brings to a close this episode of Enterprise Architecture. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you back here next time. Bye, friends.